Welcome to the Lion's Den with Stephen Carr. I am Stephen Carr, and this is the Mega America First Grassroots podcast here in Pennsylvania, where it's all about action, action, action. And today's um today's one is going to be the Great Revolt. As you can see, going across the screen, it's not across the screen, but hold on a minute. So it's called the Great Revolt, and as it'll be scrolling across my screen here shortly. And yes, so the Great Revolt, and it's all about the upcoming November 4th election and voter turnout, and why we need to revolt against the elites, why we need to revolt against the establishment, why we need to revolt against the corrupt criminal judges, and so we need to continue to do that and continue to press forward. First of all, we got a huge election. We got a huge election coming up in November 4th, and we need to continue to keep pushing forward with voter registration and voter turnout. Call your friends, call your family, call your friends at school if you're 18, your college friends and your neighbors, and tell them to get out and vote. We need to be able to push forward. Why do I need to say this? Because the municipal election in 2025 was ridiculous, was egregious, was pathetic, sad, and sickening voter turnout here and across the state of Pennsylvania. Here in York County, the voter turnout for the municipal primary election was 10.65%. Yes, 10.560% in-person voter turnout, with millions of mail-in ballots flooding the election office. Altogether, statewide, it was a 20% voter turnout, not even enough to get statewide election candidates across the ballot, let alone to vacate the criminal corrupt judges on the bench right now, and with that have shredded your election integrity, that have voted to extend mail-in ballots 3 days past election day in 2020, who kicked the Green Party off the ballot in 2020, who voted to shut down your schools, your churches, and your businesses, and your livelihood, made your kids wear masks, separate your kids from being sociable with their friends and family, and not allowing students to graduate normally, and so forth, and took away your religious freedom. This is your chance to take back what it is. Why do I say this is important? Because we need at least a 50 to 40% voter turnout in this upcoming election to take out these corrupt, criminal, sick judges who did all these things to you, who took your freedoms away in 2020, who stopped your business and your livelihood and your churches and your faith and so forth. Who also have overturned sexual predator convictions in Commonwealth Court cases. And what else have they done? They also have picked and choose winners and losers for essential businesses that stay open in 2020, and twisted election laws so they can redistrict Democrats into the districts and so forth. These are your rights. These are your freedoms, guys. This is Pennsylvania. This is the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. These are the same ones that said that the election ballots was constitutional. When only one person spoke out against that, there was Patricia McCullough, who said it was unconstitutional. These are the corrupt criminal judges you don't want in the Supreme Court. They also are getting more money the longer they stay in office. for 10 years. So we need to deconstruct the administrative state. We need to deconstruct the Supreme Courts. We need to have the establishment come crashing down on them. And this is where we need to revolt against the elites, where we need to revolt against the criminal judges in Pennsylvania and vote in conservatives and all up and down the ballot in primary and the municipal election. You want to see a revolt? You want to see the revolt of the elites? Let me show you stats of the revolt of the elites. 2024 voter turnout in Pennsylvania, a historic high. Pennsylvania saw a record-breaking voter engagement in the 2024 general election. 77.1% of registered voters cast ballots. 68.5% of the voting age population participated. These figures rank among the highest turnout rates since 1988. County level highlights. York County had 83.1%. It says 35 counties surpassed 80% turnout among registered voters, including York County 83.1%, Juanita County 84.4%, highest in the state, Butler County 83.9%, Montgomery County 82.8%, and Franklin County 88.4%. Contextual comparison. Here's how 2024 stacks up against the previous presidential elections. Here you go. Registered voters, 2024, 77.1%. Voter turnout, voters voted. Voting age population, 68.5. 2020, 76.1. 66.8 population voted. 2016, 70.1. 61.0. 2012, 67.6. and 58.1. This is the revolt of the elites. It says why it matters. The surge in turnout reflects strong voter mobilization efforts across campaigns, counties, and civic organizations for candidates like you. This underscores the power of grassroots outreach and digital engagement, especially in high-performing counties like York. As you can see, all those were the people revolting against the elites, against the establishment, who wanted change, who wants change now. This is a local election, guys. This is where it starts. This is where it begins. This local action affects national action here in Pennsylvania, and we need to continue to keep pushing forward. We need to keep. This is your fight, guys. This is your thing, your elections. This is your attitude. This is where we kick out the elites, the establishment, where we make it come all crashing down in 2025 by getting in more Republican conservative school board members, more Republican local candidates, more Republican DAs and judge of Commonwealths and so forth. This is where it starts. This is the grassroots mega populist movement. This is where we need to continue to keep fighting, guys, and keep going forth. I'll even show you how bad it was. Here it is. Pennsylvania 2025 primary turnout by party. Estimated turnout rate, 22% Democrat, higher than Republicans, 18%. Democrats outvoted us in the 2025 primary. Unaffiliated are not able to vote. What else do I got for you? Here's one for you. Voter turnout in 2023 general election. Even this was a high of 3, and we still won with 36.38%, beating them. Estimated voter turnout in the general election, Pennsylvania. Higher engagement in local races, especially school board contestants. This is how we beat them, guys. We need people out there voting 7 to 8 a.m. or early person voting at your election office. We need to continue to keep the fight on, to keep the movement going. We need to finish what we started, continually pushing forward and continuously putting the pressure on the deep state. Every single day is going to be a fight to keep our republic, to keep our constitutional republic, to keep our America, to keep our freedoms. We must be relentless. We must be vigilant. We must be aggressive. These are corrupt criminal judges who need to be vacated out of the Supreme Court. These are Democrat judges who are deconstructing our very own Pennsylvania. What kind of judges overturn sexual predator convictions in Commonwealth cases? Don't believe me? Check this out. Right here, overturn convictions of sexual predators, Commonwealth Court cases. Right here. Shredded our election integrity, twisted laws and enable unfair redistricting, allowed mail-in ballot returns 3 days past 2020, removed the Green Party from the ballot in 2020, locked down schools, churches, and businesses during COVID, picked winners and losers for essential PA businesses, forced unconstitutional orders without due process, and so forth. These are the judges that we must vacate, that we must get rid of in 2025, and we must have a 40 to 50% voter turnout in Pennsylvania. We must continue to push forward. We must continue to keep the fight going. This is your turn to take back what was stolen from you, what was taken from you. Your livelihood, your churches, your businesses, your schools, and your kids' freedoms to socialize with others, and your own freedoms to socialize with others. It's time to get involved in this election, guys. We must continue to fight, must continue to keep up the pressure at every single election. You must be voting in every single election and telling your friends, your family to get out and vote. This is the people's movement. This is the people's party. We must revolt against the elites. We must revolt against the deep state. This is where we sacrifice everything. Where we sacrifice our lives, our duties, and our sacred honor like our founding fathers did. Where we must be part of something. Where we must bring down the deep state. Where it feels good to be a part of this movement, this great, awesome, mega populist movement to get out and vote in every single election. So make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure that you're registered at your address. Make sure you're ready to vote in November 4th, 2025. Be ready to vote in every single election, guys, and be ready. Do your research on the candidates. Do your research on who is running, who is not, and make sure to get out and vote in every single election. Here are the 5 judges we got to vote no on. Christine Donahue, David West, Kevin Dougherty, Alice Beck-Dubrow, Michael J. Wuchek, and so forth. These are no. And then, as you can see, this is how some of them voted. Mail-in ballots 3 days after Election Day in 2020, 2 voted. Kicked the Green Party off the ballot in 2020, all 3 voted. Allowed Governor Wolf to shut down PA during COVID. These 2 voted that way. So we must continue to get out and vote. We must continue to keep up the fight. This is Pennsylvania, where the Declaration of Independence was signed, where the Constitution was signed and written, where the Liberty Bell is, where the Gettysburg Address was fought, where Benjamin Franklin lived, and our freedoms were fought for. This is the state. If Pennsylvania does what if we do what we do, the rest will follow Pennsylvania. That's how it's always been, guys. Everybody will follow Pennsylvania like they did in 2020, like they tried to do in 2022, like we tried to do in 2023, like we did in 2024. Everybody follows Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania in 2024 made or break the White House for Donald Trump, and Pennsylvania will make or break these candidates in 2025. It will definitely break the establishment and criminal corrupt judges in 2025, November 4th. So we must continue to put pressure on. Vote early in person, or vote in person 7 to 8 a.m. at your local polling place. Be ready to vote, and be ready to know who to vote for. Constantly be prepared for these elections. We must get people out to vote in every single election, guys. So get out and vote in every single election. We must bring down the deep state. We must have everything come crashing down on the establishment, and reconstruct the party, reconstruct the administrative state, and so forth. We must continue to vote in every single election, and be ready to vote in every single election. Voter turnout is, speaking of voter turnout, let me bring this up for you guys. So this is York County right here. These are all the counties right here that have the most. It says 87,663 active in York County. Inactive in York County is 7,164. We need to get these inactives out. Or these are Democrats, so we don't want those. But this is Republicans. 172 active Republicans. Inactive is 7,697. We got a few more inactives than we do with the Democrats. Inactives others, we got 53,542. And inactive, we got 5,292. We got work to do. Make sure you're registering your friends. Tell them to go to votespa.org and get registered to vote, and get them out to vote. Make sure that your friends are registered to vote. We are like close to 60 some days into voting on these candidates and vacating these courts, so we can have a majority in 2027 when we have a special election to vote in Republican judges right before the presidential race. So make sure that you get your friends, your family, your neighbors out to vote in these elections. It is critical. It is critical to our freedoms and to our lives, and to take back what is ours. This is our fight. This is our turn. This is the people's fight. This is the people's turn to take back what was taken from them in 2020. This is how we get back what we wanted, and so forth. So we must continue to do that. Be sure to follow my Rumble podcast, and my Rumble podcast, The Lion's Den, for more updates and so forth, and more information. Follow my X account, and which I'll put up here for you guys. Follow my X account and my True Social account for more updates, guys. And like and follow my podcast as well. it's down below. Truth is Real Stephen Carr, and my X is Real Stephen Carr as well. So please follow and like my please follow me on X and True Social, and like my Rumble account, Rumble podcast, The Lion's Den. Click the follow green button or join green button down below. But we must continue to keep on going and keep on fighting. This is the heart of Pennsylvania. This is the great revolt of Pennsylvania, the populist movement of Pennsylvania happening in 2025. We must continue to do what we did in 2024 and 2022 and 2020 and 2018 and 2012, and continue the fight in 2016 as well, and keep pressing forward with it, guys. We must continue to keep fighting and keep going forward with this every single day. Well, I don't have much for you today. I'm going to leave you with a video on Josh Shapiro by Leah Hoops, exposing Josh Shapiro, and then we're going to end it from there.
Been involved. I've had attorneys reach out to us that have gotten phone calls. He's directly connected to a lot of the judges, like Judge Barry Dozer, who just passed away. These all from top to bottom, Josh Shapiro has been involved. I've had attorneys reach out to us that have gotten phone calls from Josh Shapiro, telling them that they were not allowed to represent Greg or I in the courts. I could go on and on and on. But he's directly connected to the University of Pennsylvania. He was on the board of trustees. His father, Stephen Shapiro, is very big in the medical society in Pennsylvania. They were making money hand over foot because that's where all the COVID jabs were generated, was in the University of Pennsylvania. That's where, Joe Biden was a professor for the Annenberg Foundation, which ran factcheck.org. That's where Biden, left his classified documents, was inside of University of Pennsylvania. The amount of evidence that I have against Shapiro, I don't say that, just willy-nilly that he's a criminal. He's a criminal.
Right.
The minute you step on my front porch and personally send 2 agents to my front door as a witness, someone needs to justify that for me. That is criminal activity. That's the stuff of like the mob.
Right.
Showing up at my front door as a United States citizen to intimidate and harass me as a witness. So that in and of itself, that is why I call him a criminal. And I'm telling you, as long as I'm breathing, I will make sure that one day that man does the perp walk.
There you have it, Leah Hoops. There you have it, Leah Hoops. Leah Hoops, telling you as it is, Josh Shapiro is a criminal. He sent 3 agents to her house. Man, who does that sound like? If you ever read the book, Behold a White Horse, the guy who wrote that had 3 federal agents show up to his house as well, and arrested him or charge him as well. What his name? Something Milton. Oh, Milton Cooper is his name. Look him up. He wrote Behold a White Horse. But this guy, Leah Hoops, has been on this thing for years, guys. And like I said, I'm doing this because I'm doing this to expose Josh Shapiro. I'm doing this to get people moving and mobilize voters and mobilize the people of Pennsylvania and York County and who was listening to this on my podcast. We must continue to fight, guys. Carry this movement in 2025, November 4th, 2025 into 2026 when we have a gubernatorial election, a governor election again. Finally, we can get rid of Josh Shapiro. If we continue this red mega wave, populist wave, continue to fight every single day and be involved in these elections, and be vigilant and be ready, guys. It's time that we stand guard and stand ready to fight in every single election. Please follow and like my podcast, the Lion's Den with Stephen Carr. Follow me on X and Twitter. It's down below. But please get involved in these elections. Please get out to vote in November 4th, 2025. I can't stress it enough. This is where we people are sick and tired of what's been going on. And only way to do it is by doing it by the voting box. And it's time to get ready and do it. Well, thank you for your time.